Hello everyone, and welcome to another bass singer reaction and analysis. My name is Peter Barber. I am primarily a professional opera singer, music producer, and bass vocalist, and a part of a group of 4 bass singers called the Bass Gang, currently repping my Bass Gang t-shirt. Guys, today we're going to be checking out Kenedi Anderson, who is this phenom who has popped up on American Idol. I think this video has gotten 1.8 million views in the first 2 days. She gets the platinum ticket. It's a big deal. And I watched this earlier today, and I nearly spat out my coffee because she said she's from Crozet, Virginia, which is my hometown, and it's a tiny, tiny little city outside of Charlottesville. I immediately texted my sister, who's going to the only high school in that town of Crozet, where I also went to high school, and I was like, oh my gosh, do you know this person? She's like, yeah, been in school with her for like years now. So super crazy, and she really does have an awesome voice, and I really enjoyed her audition. So I did watch it earlier today, but we're gonna break it down now. We're gonna check out what she's doing vocally, what kind of vocal technique she's doing. She's of course covering a Lady Gaga song called Applause, and the judges go absolutely berserk. I'm of course not going to do the whole video. I've already moved the timestamp up to right before she sits down at the piano and starts to sing. Also, that's a new thing with American Idol that you didn't used to be able to accompany yourself. So that's kind of I think you used to have to wait until Hollywood Week to perform with an instrument. So it's interesting that now they've moved that aspect of the competition up one round to this first TV round. Now, it's worth noting that this TV round is after a lot of auditions already. It's not like everyone who signs up for American Idol gets to go sing for the judges. This is once they've been sufficiently vetted. And sometimes, of course, I don't know if they still do this. I haven't watched the show in a while. Sometimes they'll let someone through who's not good at all just to get like a laugh, which is like pretty messed up, despite being hilarious on occasion. But it's mostly the really talented singers that make it this far. So this is Kenedi Anderson, and guys, please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and if you are gaining value from listening to me break down these songs musically, break down the vocal technique, please consider donating to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And without further ado, let's listen to Kenedi Anderson's Lady Gaga cover, Applause, on American Idol 2022.
Well, good deal. What are you going to sing today?
So today I'm going to sing Applause by Lady Gaga.
Perfect. All right.
Good.
I'm playing the piano.
On piano?
Yes.
Oh, all right.
I stand here waiting for you to bang the gong.
Just that first phrase, there's a lot to talk about. Let's go back. So she starts out with this. So what key are we in? Do. G minor. Okay, so G minor is the key for this song. And she starts out with a little kind of slide from a vocal fry up into her main phonation vocally. This is a stylistic technique used. Often you hear it in country singers. Well, they'll kind of do a vocal fry up into their main style of singing where they actually get to the pitch. The vocal fry starts much lower. But that's what she's using right here at the start. So let's listen to that. And what's interesting is she's adopting, for the most part, a pretty breathy tone, which is fairly common in the low-middle register for really all vocalists who are singing in this kind of genre. Female vocalists, I think, especially, it's a stylistic choice a lot of female pop stars make to sing a little extra breathy in their low-middle range. And then, of course, when they get up into the belting register, the upper register of the chest range, the vocal folds come together much tighter and you get a much more pure sound with less air. But let's just check out this first bit here and listen through again.
I stand here waiting for you to bang the gong.
What's also nice is she's letting her voice spin. When I say spin, I mean she's allowing vibrato to come in. Dark. She's allowing vibrato to naturally come in. And vibrato really is what's happening when the voice is relaxed and free. You can tell when a vibrato is forced or pushed. Hers is not. She has a nice free vibrato, meaning she's just letting the whole vocal apparatus relax, and she's sending the proper amount of breath support. And it just allows this kind of sine wave-like vibrato. So through the melodic parts of the passage, as her voice is moving up and down, she's using straight tone or basically just not using vibrato. Vibrato is something you use all the time in operatic singing, and pretty much no other genre uses it all the time. So in a setting like this, there's no vibrato, no vibrato, no vibrato, and then at the end of each phrase, she allows a little bit of vibrato to come in. And this does show good vocal control and a good awareness of her instrument and what she's doing artistically with the song. It adds a little bit to be able to go back and forth between using vibrato and not. It keeps the song interesting and allows, different delivery of text, different delivery of melody. So it's a really good start. And you can also tell in her style, she does like to do the scooping and a bit of sliding around, keeping the voice loose, not treating her voice like a piano where it's, it'd be very jagged. What's the pitch she started on? That's like the first. Ooh. She has like nice sliding and nice smoothness between her voice as opposed to ooh. Would it be like a more jagged kind of approach to the line? So let's listen to that one more time and then we'll keep forward. I'm probably going to take a good amount of time because there's only about a minute and a half of singing to break down at most. Normally I would break down like a 3 or 4 minute song over the course of half an hour. So we're gonna get in the weeds. And I was thinking earlier today, because she's from my tiny little hometown, that's like Crozet Pride. I might do more videos on her as she progresses in this competition, which I expect. Just gotta show some love for the people who grew up in that tiny little town of like, I don't know how many people, but probably like 10 or 20,000. I mean, it is like small. Anyway, one more time here from the top.
I stand here waiting for you to bang the gong.
I stand here waiting for. I stand here waiting for. So they got the vocal fry up, the sliding melodic line, and then vibrato at the end. So it's a lot of really interesting things happening here.
To crush the critics saying, is it right or is it wrong?
All right. Yeah, so there she gets up into... yeah, Katy Perry was going gaga for this. She gets up into her upper belt range, and you can hear the vocal fold closure. You can hear the sound getting much more pure. The breathiness completely goes away, and she gets up into this belt and does a beautiful, nice little stepwise riff here. Now, when you get into riffing, you don't want your riffs to be slidey or sloppy, how she was using the connection between notes earlier. When she went into the riffing, it got very accurate, much more like the attack on a piano, which is what you want when riffing, so you can clearly hear each of those little notes in the riff. So listen to the transition as she goes from this lower breathy kind of singing up into this much more pure, much more powerful, clear-voiced belting. And yeah, check out that riff as well. Super clean.
To crush the critics saying, is it right or is it wrong?
Mm-hmm. Do 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 do. What's that again?
Is it right or is it wrong?
Wrong. Oh, that's it. Wrong. So, re, me, re, do, re, me, re, do. For anyone that knows solfege. A, B flat, A, G is the main kind of theme there. Now we're getting up B flat 4 is getting towards the top of the chest range of kind of the average female singer who's untrained. Usually they'll get up to, actually it's one octave higher. Up there is where she's actually singing. You get up to about a B flat 4, B4, and the untrained female voice will generally have to flip into head voice or gets very yelly. And I know she goes a bit higher than that in this piece, but just pointing that out so you can tell she's still very much in control of her voice up at the top of what would be kind of a natural and normal range for an untrained singer. But obviously she has experience as a singer thus far. She's not just walking off the street. Let's keep going.
If only fame hadn't ivy, baby, could I been away?
Okay, there we have a nice little flip up into head voice. So mode 1 is also known as chest voice singing. That's what she's done so far, even up into the belt. Flip up into head voice, or for male singers, falsetto. That is called mode 2 singing. It's a lighter mechanism of singing. Less of the actual vocal fold mass is being used, so they can stretch further. The vocal folds stretch when as you sing higher and higher notes, they stretch further and further. I believe that the cricothyroid is the actual musculature responsible for that stretching, and the opposite would be I think thyroarytenoid is what thickens the vocal folds and allows you to sing low. You can fact check me on my voice science, which I knew very well during my master's, but it's been a couple years. But let's check out that head flip up there into her falsetto range.
If only fame hadn't ivy, baby, could I been away?
So she flips up to a D5, and then comes back, and then has a little run back down. An octave higher, probably, normally than what I'll demonstrate.
Ivy, baby, could I been away? Being away from you.
So then she got up to a D5 there in chest voice. She really stretched out her chest range there. Now D5 is getting very, like I said, B flat B-ish is where the natural range will normally end for a female singer, and she just went up a solid minor third or major third, depending on how you're drawing that limit. So quite a bit higher. It takes coordination, it takes vocal fold strength to be able to get up there without your voice cracking. A voice crack really is when the vocal folds can't withstand the amount of stretch, and so to protect themselves, they release a lot of the mass, and then you flip up into your head voice, so it's just really just the edges. The mucosal membrane of the vocal folds are left vibrating. So it's a self-protection thing. So it's really not. It's actually better that your voice cracks because it's basically protecting you from potential injury. So it's kind of a sign of your natural limits. But that's what she did there. So you can go back and compare and contrast her flip up to the D5 in head voice versus when she takes it up there in her chest voice, which she just did. So let's listen to that second belt here. Head voice. And she misses it a little. It's not away from. I think she is just a little bit underpitched. She didn't quite get all the way up there. But the thing about this, and another thing I wanted to commend her on, is just basically keeping her cool and staying calm. I mean, this is a high pressure situation. You get in here and you have 3 minutes to impress these super famous people. So not only is it your one shot, but you're also dealing with being completely starstruck. And you see a lot of singers come in here and they're super, super nervous and fidgety, but she just sits down at that piano and does her thing. Now, another thing about that is actually much better in this case to be able to, focus on the instrumentation and play something while you're singing, because then there's not that much bandwidth left to be worried about the judges. What's super nerve-wracking, and this is a point I would always hammer home to my students when I used to teach during my master's, when they would have to give the recital at the end of the semester, is you just have to stand up there and sing. You just stand there, and it's just you and the piano and people watching, and you can't do stuff with your hands, and you can't walk around the stage. You just sit there calmly and just deliver your piece. So that's like something that is pretty unique in a lot of times to the opera world, because opera singers do not use microphones and we don't self-accompany in performance. So when you're singing, it's just you, and there's no microphone to hide behind. There's no guitar or piano to hide behind. It's like very kind of raw and exposing, and can be super embarrassing if you're up there and you don't know what to do and you feel like you have to move. Anyway, Kenedi stays very calm, very collected and professional behind the piano here. And so, you know, she misses a note here, she misses a note there. That could just be a performance fluke due to nerves or whatever. You know, often when you're singing, your breath support system gets really tight because it's like the body's way of kind of protecting itself under times of anxiety. It wants to like be in defense mode, and that can ruin your breath support. Anyway, she just misses this high note a bit, but you can totally tell it's there and within her voice under normal circumstances.
Being away from you, I found the thing, put it here. I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, the applause, applause. Live for the way that you cheer and scream for me, for the applause, applause, applause.
Someone's there, a little riff in there. So every time her approach to these, and I guess it makes it kind of more intimate and like makes you want to listen. Applause, applause. It like she vocal fries into every time she says the word applause. A little vocal fry slide. Applause, applause, and keeps the tone very, very breathy. And it presents a huge contrast in this low register compared to when she's up high in her register belting. Keeps it very breathy. The piano part here, of course, is dialed way back from where it just was. It's just it's very simple. It's very stripped down, and she's got this very soft kind of intimate vocal production happening.
I live for the applause, applause, applause. I live for the applause, applause, the applause, applause. Live for the way that you cheer and scream for me, for the applause, applause, applause.
That's the riff, I think. Starts on the C there. Katy Perry liked it. Oh, yeah. So that's we're getting way towards the top of her chest range there. And you can tell she's stretching it because there's a moment when she pulls up, goes high, and then has to flip up into falsetto just for a second. And clearly she's done that before, because that kind of vocal acrobatics can be pretty messy if you're not used to it. But she has a nice little quick flip up into her head voice. But you can tell she is now, again, this could be a nerves thing, this could be a whatever, performance situation thing. Good grief, this cord is getting all up in my business. My headphones cord. But you can tell she's having to push it a little bit. And another part is that it's harder to use breath support when you're seated. That's a big training thing opera singers use, is to try and sing all your big operatic repertoire while sitting, because it's harder to get a hold of your breath support system. It's much easier when you're standing. So that could be another factor that's playing into her having to push a little bit to get to these high notes, more than she probably does under normal circumstances. But I'm interested to see where she goes from chest up into head voice, where she flips here.
Applause, applause. Give me that thing that I love. Turn the lights on.
Lights on. So let's go on up to the D again. Okay. So from the C5 to the D5 is when she goes chest and flips into head voice a little bit to accommodate her range in this circumstance, under these circumstances.
Give me that thing that I love, turn the lights out, put your hands up, make them touch. Give me that thing that I love, turn the lights out, put your hands up, make them touch.
And you can tell on these lines where she's having to sustain these high Cs, that's tenor high C, C5. It's tough. It's already tough to sing up there. It's really tough to sing a line of text up there, which is what she's having to do here. And you can tell the vocal folds are struggling a little bit to stay fully together. There's a little bit more air, a little bit more grit coming through the sound than is when she just can sustain without having to do more text. Because speaking, if you have a consonant in your singing, now a voiced consonant like a v or a m, that doesn't break up a vocal line, but an unvoiced consonant like a f, t, k, p, all these things necessarily break up the vocalism because they're unvoiced. So your voice actually has to stop and restart. Now it can be very fast, but it has to stop and restart. So if you have a long string of words in a really high part of your voice, and they have a lot of unvoiced consonants, that means your voice has to keep stopping and starting up in a really challenging part of your range. So it makes a vocal line like that very, very, very difficult to execute, especially when seated, especially under a nerve-wracking situation. So again, like I said earlier, she's really handling the pressure beautifully, and I'll be interested to hear her sing this whole thing under her own conditions where she's calm and she can make it exactly how she wants it. So I'll have to check that out. Put your hands up. So listen to that line right there, and you can tell the voice is listen for those consonants, because you can tell the voice has to, it's like split seconds, but the voice has to start and stop really quick, in quick succession. Now, na, 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 those are voiced consonants, so the voice doesn't have to stop. Na, 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 na. As opposed to like, you could do a fa, 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 fa. The voice has to stop for split seconds. Na, 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 va, 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 va. Voice consonants, the voice can keep going through, it can sing through those consonants. So voice consonants are really great, and they actually help the vocal fold phonation if you look at the physics of how they work and propagate throughout the vocal apparatus. See how easy those are? Now I know it's not as high in her range, but listen to how healthy and easy those na-na-nas sound. See, Luke Bryan, he could tell just a little bit of a push to get up there. Again, the D. So the D, and this time she actually stayed connected to chest voice, to this high D here. Nice, I like that one. Wow! And you could tell how well her voice stayed connected on that touch. Up to a C5 again. So the C, she's mad comfortable. Unless it's a long line of those high Cs, which makes it treacherous for anybody just to sing up there consistently on a bunch of words. But listen, I love that last riff. She stays super connected, the voice, the tone stays pure, and also the pitches were very, very accurate, which is always nice to hear in any kind of riff or movement in the voice. Yeah.
Wow!
So they go on, of course, you've all seen it, they go on and go absolutely crazy. She gets the platinum ticket, and deserved. And the judges understand that a lot of these singers are young and don't have a ton of performance experience under nerve-wracking conditions. And this is a uniquely nerve-wracking condition, of course. So they understand, and I think they do allow for, what they're looking for here, which I think Lionel Richie says, is that they're looking for the next thing, and you can clearly hear it in her voice. She's got a cool sound. She has a hold of her technique. She knows what she's doing. She's got the look, like they said. And so you can clearly watch this audition and see star potential. And that's what they're looking for. So they're going to let little mistakes slide. They're going to let little pitch issues slide, like I was pointing out, because they can tell the product is there. And they can tell, especially with good guidance and training, that she could be a superstar. So guys, this is I'm probably going to call this a vocal analysis because I was really thinking more about that than any kind of reaction, which I had earlier today when I watched it for the first time. And when she said she's from Crozet, Virginia, I almost spat my coffee all over my computer. Just crazy. So shout out to Kenedi Anderson for putting little old Crozet on the map. And I'm going to keep up with her journey on American Idol. Because I think she could take it all the way there. Definitely one of the top prospects from the singers I've seen. So, all right, guys, that's been it. Please like this video if you enjoyed it. Please subscribe to the channel. Please consider donating to my Patreon. Go check out the Bass Gang. We have some huge, awesome projects coming out in May with a bunch of incredible collaborators that I can't reveal just yet, but they are awesome, and the music we're doing is going to be so sick, and it's very exciting. And that's that, guys. That wraps up this analysis video. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Shout out to Kenedi. Shout out to Crozet. Peace.